see something else, and yet the two people start to argue, and one says, I know the truth, the other guy says, no, my point of view is the truth. We may be able to understand some of that stuff about it, but nevertheless, there's no way that we're ever going to mathematize or put into mathematical formula this very act in which a conscious observer comes up with the answer. People say, oh, the measuring instruments, the recorder records it, and there it is, it's on the tape, it's recorded. You forgot one part of the equation. Somebody has to look at the tape. And until somebody looks at the tape, it ain't recorded at all. Until there's an ear, there is no sound in the forest.
So there's no way, is that ever then provable? If you can never, you say that only when you look at it, it collapses. How do you then prove that when you don't see it, it's quote unquote uncollapsed?
The question about whether you look at something and then it collapses, and when you don't look, it's uncollapsed, is there any way of proving that? Can it ever be demonstrated? The answer is probably not. And the reason why is that without the observer looking and the uncollapsing going on, or all the possibilities arising, if that did not occur, then what we do see when we finally get in and observe what's going on would not be according to experimental observation at all. In fact, it would be off the chart. So unless there was this gooey stuff going on when we're not looking, which we can't observe because by looking at it we change it into prickly stuff. If there's no goo to prickly stuff taking place, if we assume that wasn't the case and it was either prickly stuff, we wouldn't get the wrong answers. In other words, particle does not give us the right answer. So you have to have this other stuff going on, and this is the mystery. And there's no way that I can see, in fact, I would say the trend right now in physics is to get away from trying to explain everything in terms of prickly stuff or, fundamental particle. Eventually, you reach the point where you're inventing loops within loops within loops, or strings or wiggles on strings within wiggles on strings on wiggles on wiggles, and say, well, 10 dimensions, 11 dimensions, we haven't got enough dimensions. This to me is just like what happened in the ancient times in Greece when Ptolemy said, oh, everything can be explained by circles. The earth is at the center of the universe, and everything goes around it in a circle. Oh, but wait. Some planets go backwards, and then they go forwards, and they go, well, how, that's not a circle. What's going on, Mr. Ptolemy? Oh, what that is a circle within a circle. And if we put a circle, oh, well, what about that little, oh, that's another circle within a circle within a circle. And, and it worked. You could predict everything with circles within circles with the earth at the center, and people said, that's got to be the right answer. Completely wrong. Wrong answer. We're up the tree with looking for more fundamental particles too. Eventually we'll understand that. And I'm hoping that the string theorists out there who are thinking about this will begin to realize that you need the gooey stuff. You need these possibility waves, this stuff which we can't really ever see without disrupting it by the action of looking.
So are the probability waves, are they matter and energy, or are they something different than that?
They're not matter, and they're not energy. They're not even in space. They're not even in time. They are patterns which we perceive as a way of understanding what's going on in this realm, this gooey realm that we can't get our hands into. It's our way of understanding. It allows us to make predictions. It gives us a handle on what's going on, but it ain't the whole story by any means.
So would you say, when the people talk about the wave-particle duality, that both of those are just extrapolating our understanding in the macro world onto the quantum, and it's really something, it's not a wave or a particle?
The problem we all have in trying to understand what we don't see and cannot see always is we have to create an image, and that's what's called a mythology. And there are two mythologies right now that are running the shows. There's the monarchy, which says, God creates everything and God's the king, and we have to, that's the source of everything. Or, no, there's no God. Everything's dead, but electrical sparks fly up as an accident, which gives rise to life in an accidental corner of the universe, which came out, and now there's laws for how these things behave, and boy, we're thankful that these laws exist, because if it wasn't for those laws, we wouldn't be here at all, blah, 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 the scientific idea. Both ideas are, in my opinion, wrong. They're going in the wrong direction. They're going to lead us into more and more trouble. We seem to need a new idea here.
Which is?
If you're going to ask me what that new idea is, I'm going to say only this much because I'm not sure myself what we need to do. I will say this, that quantum physics at least is pointing us in a direction which says that we need to understand that there is a creative power that we all have in the universe, and that there is a God presence in the universe, but it ain't a God on high sitting on a throne, whipping us into shape. And even the laws that come into being, we think those laws are out there in the universe. No, even that's not true. The laws that come into being because we put into the world in some way our understanding. Alan Watts calls it casting a net. We cast a net of a certain size, and what comes out are all the fish that can be caught in that net, and those fish are the laws which govern that particular net size. Cast another net, we get different size fish, and we get different set of in other words, a different set of laws, which applies when we use that kind of network. So in other words, it's what we do which even creates the laws in the universe.